الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم ولا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم. So we finished with Surah Baqarah, also with Surah Yusuf alayhi salam. So today we're speaking of a new topic these last 2 days. Alhamdulillah, may Allah Ta'ala accept inshallah. So we're going to speak about the 6 points of Tabligh and how to get them in our lives. And we're going to make a bayan in a special way. I'm going to ask questions and you are going to listen to the answers inshallah. So the first question is how to become a Sahabi, or to make it more clear, how did the Sahaba become Sahaba? When we read the life of Sahaba radiallahu anhu, there is something very astonishing, is that each Sahabi, as soon as he makes Shahada, he will love Allah Ta'ala and His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam more than anything. He will be ready for all efforts and sacrifices for deen. Any hardship or torture that he will go through will not discourage him. So instantly he becomes a Sahabi. Before making Shahada, Rasulullah will be giving da'wah, he will be resisting, Rasulullah will be insisting until he makes Shahada. But as soon as he makes Shahada, he becomes a Sahabi. And when we read these stories, we are helpless because we understand the words, but we don't understand what's happening. How did they get this Iman? And we would like to have that Iman, and we're saying the same words of Shahada, but we don't feel the same thing at all. So this is a problem, because if we can't understand the Iman they had the first day of their conversion to Islam, if we can't have that Iman, so all the rest that's going to happen in their life, you'll never have it. Because after that first day, their Iman is going to increase. They're going to go through education, to learn the Quran, practicing hardship, etc. and get more qualities and get more Iman. So if from day one we are lost, so all the rest will never be able to reach up. And that means that all the deen we are practicing, we have understood and we are practicing in our life, has no link, has no comparison with what they have understood and they have practiced. So of course, this Islam we are doing, we have understood, is different than the one they are doing, and that is dangerous. You see? So this question is so important. It took me 10 years to get an answer. Because, in fact, I discussed yesterday with the Mufti Sahib, and concerning this tafsir of Surah Baqarah I gave you, and he asked me, how did I get to have that tafsir? How did I get to have that understanding of Surah Baqarah, to make it educational, practical, to make all that? Actually, it is part of a broader research, and the subject of the research is how to live on Quran, how to make Quran a manual of education, the way it was for Sahaba and Rasulullah. They used to learn 5 verses or 10 verses, practice them, then go to the next. So the Quran was their manual. Look, for example, this mosque. You are practicing reading Quran, teaching children. You're trying to practice Islam. Did you ever say, okay, let's take Quran and take verse by verse and practice it? Or surah by surah or 5 verse by? You never had that idea. So all the Islam, the way of practicing, the way you understood Islam, is not the way Rasulullah taught the Sahaba. Because the Quran was their manual. They were learning, understanding, practicing, going to the next one, going to the next one. The way you go to school, you have first class, second class, etc. You see, I never saw anybody in this world taking Quran as a manual of education. The way Rasulullah. That's what I was looking for, because, subhanAllah, we know that that was their manual of education. So how can we leave it? Subhanallah, how can we take another way of understanding Islam? That's the subject of my research actually since I went into Islam all the way to now. Well, and so when you take now the life of Sahaba, the life of Rasulullah, and you want to follow, so the first thing is that as soon as they made Shahada, their life changed totally. So how to do that? Now we're lost. From this kalima of La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, we have taken different ways. Us and Sahaba. You see, it took me 10 years to get an answer. And it was one of the mashayikh, one of the buzurg in Pakistan who said, Al-ilah هو الشيء الذي يأله إليه قلب الإنسان أن يتعلق به. The ilah, the deity, the divinity, when we say La ilaha illallah, there's no God but Allah, is the thing to which the heart of man is attached. Subhanallah, to which the heart of man is attached. That means when you say La ilaha illallah, look at all the things you are attached to say, no, that's not my God. My God is only Allah. He's my creator. Why should I be attached to anything else? He's the only one that can help me, harm me in this world and hereafter. So why should I be attached? No, all the rest is not worth worrying about, fighting about, running after, being concerned about. Only Allah. You see? Well, that's another understanding. When I heard this definition, I was shocked. It took me like 2-3 days to recover from it. Because look at everything your heart is attached to. That is competing with Allah. It must only be Allah that you are attached to. Look at all those things. So you see, now you understand. Why? Because there's a rule in Iman, but a general rule of life, that what you give, what you give will come out of your heart. The thing you have taken, that is going to come into your heart. It's like money. For example, if you buy a phone for $100, it's worth $100. If you buy it $1,000, it's worth $1,000 in your heart. If it falls or breaks or stolen, it's $1,000 ripped from your heart. You see? And Iman is like that. What you give to Allah, that value will be changed by Iman. Means anything you have is a way to buy Iman. You give it to Allah, you get Iman instead. You see? And because they give their lives to Allah, they cut, when they said Shahada, well, not only they gave up their idols, but idol worshipping is not just an idol, it's a way of life. It's a way of life. And it's also a link with the tribe, because all the tribe is together with that idol. You see? And for example, Quraysh has fought. They did war to all the tribes to take their idols and bring them in Kaaba, in Mecca. You see? They made war with Medina to take their idols, which is in that, with Taif, with others, to bring their idols of all those tribes and put them in Mecca, in Kaaba. So they will have to come to Mecca to worship their own idols. And they cannot do war in Mecca because it is haram. Even outside the Ashur Haram, even outside the special month where the haram becomes more extended, it is haram. They're not allowed to have war, so it's finished. They cannot fight to get their idols back. You see? And that is to dominate the whole of Arabs. They did that. So what if you come now and say, no, all these idols are rubbish, nothing. We've done all these wars for nothing, and who's going to listen to us now? You see? So it's not just the idol. It is a system of life. It is connection with your tribe. Now your tribe is your life. When you are in the desert, if you don't have your tribe, you're dead. You cannot live without your tribe. It was very strong with the Arabs. And if you want to go to another tribe, they say, where? Why did you leave your tribe? This is suspicious. What are you going to come do with us? We don't want you. You see, you cannot leave your tribe and go to live with another tribe. What's wrong? So it is a life that they left, abandoned, not knowing how they're going to live, on what base, what system, how they just gave their life to Allah, not knowing how it's going to happen, and knowing that everybody's going to be their enemies now. So when you give to Allah, the value of what you give is changed by Iman. And because they give their lives to Allah, that's how they got this enormous Iman as soon as they made Shahada. But after that, that's just the beginning. After that starts the education and learning and hardship and etc. And their Iman is going to increase. But that's from day one. Okay? That's the first question. And actually, so how are we going to follow this, how are we going to apply this and use this? We have to take out of our hearts everything we are attached to. And that's a big work. So, all these creatures, we're going to divide them into three classes. The first and the worst is to be attached to oneself. It is kibr. And that is the worst thing that can come in a human heart. And it is the attribute of shaitan, of Iblis. Ba'astakbara. Wa kana min al-kafirin. His pride. Okay? And now the pride, Rasulullah gave the explanation and the solution when he said that he will not enter to paradise the one who's got one atom of pride in his heart. He said, but we want to have nice clothes and nice shoes. He says Allah is beautiful and likes beauty. But the pride, the kibr, is refusing truth and despising people. So that is first thing we have to work on. Accepting the truth and not despising anyone. You don't know any Muslim. What is his value in the eyes of Allah? How is he going to end his life? How are we going to end? How is everybody going to be in front of Allah? We don't know. So you mustn't despise anyone. And accept the truth. However it is said, in any manner it is said, whoever the person is saying it, what is, you just have to see, is that true or not? If it is true, that's what we are looking for. You must not be angry or resisting. Why are you saying this to me? Don't you know who I am? That's rubbish. No one is over the truth. No one. I'm just trying to go fast. So that is the first point, kibr. The second point is dunya. Now I'm going to give you an idea. Kibr, some people have a lot, a little. Some people don't have. But dunya, everybody's inside. Because we are living in it, depending on it. So I'll just give you an idea. So, if you have Rasulullah said, if I say Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, it is better for me than everything the sun has shone on, everything the sun has enlightened. This world is better than everything on earth. Now look, if you're walking and you lose $1, $1 trillion dollar, are you going to pick it up? Yes, of course. What if you lose half $1? Well, yes, you pick it up, isn't it? Huh? Or you don't? You do. Or what if it's 10 cents? I don't know how your money goes, but let's say it's 10 cents. Maybe not. Huh? Sometimes you see 10 cents in the street. No one picks it up, isn't it? Huh? Well, what if you lose 10 cents and then another 10 cents? No. This is becoming serious now. So you can't afford to waste it twice. No, you have to be careful. But the tasbih, we're wasting it, not paying attention. How many tasbih we have wasted? We could have done hundreds. We're losing them, not even noticing, not even feeling that you have lost anything. You see? That's what we call lisan al-hal. Your situation is speaking that the tasbih is not worth 10 cents in your heart. If it was worth 10 cents, subhanallah, 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 in 1 minute you make 60, that's $6. Mashallah. In 1 hour, how much will it be? $360. That's interesting. If you spend one whole day, 10 hours, that's $3,600. Not many people that earn that much every day, isn't it? If tasbih was worth 10 cents in our hearts, we would be worshipping Allah like angels. No more wasting time. Hey brother, it's hot today. It's rubbish talking about hot today. SubhanAllah, Alhamdulillah. It's hot today. What's this? Any use? Everybody knows it's hot. You're telling me it's hot today. What's making waste my time? SubhanAllah, Alhamdulillah. We'd be worshiping Allah angels. If it was 10 cents, imagine if it was $1 or $100. Allahu Akbar. Hey, you can't. Hey, even for food, you eat quickly. Go back to tasbih. You can't waste time. You see? So that is the value of dunya in our hearts. And that is not letting us have concentration in salat, feeling what we should be feeling with Quran, with everything. That is the filling our hearts. So I tell you, kibr is worse than dunya. Some people have, some people don't have. But dunya, no one can be exempted because we are living in it. Okay? So how to get this dunya out of our hearts? That means we have to understand that this is our enemy. Between us and Allah, this is the obstacle that we have to remove from our hearts. Okay? And to remove dunya from our hearts, you have to give it. You have to take it off your hands. You cannot be hanging on to dunya and you make some dhikr and salat and this, nafilah, and you want it to come out of your heart. But when it comes to dunya, you will keep it. No, that way it cannot come. To take dunya out of your heart, there are 5 steps. First step is to give what you don't need. As the Rasulullah said, Ya ibn Adam, إِنَّكَ أَن تَبْذُلَ الْفَضْلَ خَيْرٌ لَكَ وَأَن تُمْسِكَهُ شَرٌ لَكَ. Son of Adam, if you give what you don't need, it's good for you. If you keep it, it's bad for you. That means as soon as you go to your house, look at everything that is useless. We're not talking about sacrificing important things. No. Look for the things that are useless. For example, you have some pans or some dishes that you have since your day of marriage. You're offered. It's still in the box. You never took it out of the box. After how many years? So what's the point? Take it, give it to someone who's getting married or whatever, give it. Why are you keeping it? Just taking space uselessly. You see? You have some shoes you haven't worn for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. How many years are you going to wait to wear them in one day? Just give them. Anything useless. I don't know, some people keep spare parts of cars. Yeah, you're going to wait for your car, for that particular part to break from your car. So you're going to put it. How many years? So all those things, useless. I'm not talking about sacrificing. No, just that, taking space uselessly. Give it all away. You find people who need it will be happy to have it. I'm making dua for you. When you give it, subhanallah, your iman is going to increase. It's like a flower that you put under a bucket. And when you remove the bucket, the flower is living again. Air, sun, wind is coming back to life. That means all that dunya you are keeping jealously is a poison to your iman. Not letting your iman increase. And you think it is good for you when it is bad for you. And Allah is going to replace what you have given by good things. Because وَمَا أَنْفَقْتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَهُوَ يُخْلِفُهُ. Anything you give for Him, you spend for Him, He will replace it with good things. You see? So that is the first step in removing dunya. Give what you don't need. Second step, to give what you are asked. This is a great sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Anything they ask him, he doesn't say no. I've met many people who speak about sunnah, who fight for sunnah, who claim they are sunnis. But I didn't see many who love this sunnah. No, you have to. If you choose the sunnah you like, so you're following your nafs. And the sunnah your nafs does not like, just put it aside. So you're not following sunnah, you're just following what you like. So when you do this sunnah, and you say, I'm going to do this sunnah of Rasulullah and give whatever I'm asked, something strange is going to happen into your life. You'll see people coming from all over the place. Oh, my brother, I've got a problem. Can you help me? Oh, my brother, I did such thing. Oh, my brother just came from far away to see, hey, what's happening to all these people? How did they know that I have decided to give whatever I'm asked? Allah Ta'ala has accepted your intention. Allah Ta'ala is seeing that you want Iman, and you want to follow the Sunnah, and you want to clean your heart. And Allah is looking into your heart, all those things that are stopping you to love Him, and to get your khushu and salat and everything. And Allah is sending you people to clean your heart. You see? You're in the hands of Allah. You're in the hands of Allah. And that means that in your work of Iman, what you used to get in 1 month, you're going to get in 1 week. What you used to get in 1 year, you're going to get in 1 month. Every day, new challenge. Every day, new dunya coming out of your heart. Just continue. Just continue giving. Don't lose faith. Say, I give this, how am I going to do? SubhanAllah, what did Allah say? Allah will take care. Allah will take care. Allah will give you better. Sometimes you will not be able to give. Say, no. For example, my hat. My hat? No. How am I going to do without my hat? And you say, no, I won't give it. When you say you won't give it, Allah will take it off you. Something is going to happen, it's going to go. It's going to go. So Allah shows you, you think it is yours. No, it's not yours. I gave it to you, I can take it back anytime. I'm just asking you to give it nicely, but I can take it off by force. Without you being able to say nothing. I just want to educate you. So Allah will take it off you, so you don't leave this good habit. And you don't come back to thinking that this belongs to you, and you are the one who can decide to keep it or to give it. No. It's all for Allah. Forget about that stupid thinking that these things are yours. And then, third stage, to remove dunya is to give what you love best. As Allah says, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. You'll not get the good until you give what you love. And these Sahaba gave away the thing he loved most, as a land, as a well, as a plantation. And then, fourth stage is to bring our level of life down progressively down to the level of life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it is a great thing to read and to learn how Rasulullah was living and Sahaba. It is something incredible. As, for example, Rasulullah told Aisha, radiallahu anha, Ya Aisha, if you want to join me in Jannah, don't change your robe until you patch it. And look, the condition to join him in Jannah. Why? Can't you have beautiful robes? Is that going to stop her joining Rasulullah in Jannah, his favorite wife? Why is it necessary to be poor? You see, we are so much into dunya that we can't understand what is the problem in worshipping Allah and having the best clothes, the best house, the best TV, the best car, the best food. What's the problem? The best phone. What's the problem? The problem is that مَا جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لِرَجُلٍ مِنْ قَلْبَيْنِ فِي جَوْفِهِ. Allah did not give a man 2 hearts in his tummy. One to love Allah and one to love dunya. That is the problem. And Aisha radiallahu anha will not change a robe until she patches it and returns it. She will patch it. And when it is ruined, she will turn it inside out and put it the other way and keep on patching the other side of her robe. I've never seen even a beggar wearing that kind of clothes in my life. I haven't even seen a beggar or someone sleeping outside wearing that kind of clothes. And that was what Aisha was doing. So she did not have a second robe to put until the one she has is totally finished, that she will get another robe and leave that one. She will not have 2. Ajib. And the 5th level to remove dunya of our hearts is test, ibtila. Means some things we cannot give. You cannot give your children, you cannot give your papers, you cannot give your house, etc. But all these things Allah is going to test you, to take them out of your heart. As Allah told Ibrahim to kill his son, Ismail, so that his love will come out of his heart and it will be the love of Allah that's overall. Okay, so that is actually the first 2 points in this program of getting the 6 points. But we must understand that this dunya, that is our enemy, that is stopping us to get iman and to follow the way of Prophet ﷺ and Sahaba. Now the third creature that we have to take out of our hearts is the smallest shirk, is riya, is seeking the appreciation of people. Riya, okay? That is the third one. So actually I told you, we're working on questions and answers. And the first question is how to become a Sahaba, or how does a Sahaba become Sahaba? What happened so they became Sahaba? So that was question 1. Question 2, what is ikhlas? How to get ikhlas? Sincerity. And the answer is that ikhlas is 3 things. First thing, that our actions be equal when we are alone or with people. That is the first point of ikhlas. You should not increase or decrease your actions. For example, if I'm praying in my room and someone walks in, I'm going to increase my prayer so it does not see how I am making it fast. Or I'm going to reduce my prayer so it does not see how much khushu', concentration I have in my prayer. So both are riya for people. You must not increase or decrease. Take people like sheep. There was in France one brother speaking with a sheepkeeper. And the sheepkeeper said, when he's with his sheep in the bush, he will make an azan and salat. But if the French people are here, he will make salat without adhan. He said, but when you are with your sheep, you make adhan and salat. He said, yes. He said, when the French people are here, put them like sheep. This is just like you have a few more sheep, and you make your adhan and your salat. So it's not to make fun of them or to despise them, but when you are worshipping Allah, put everybody like sheep. And you want to make your 2 rakat, all these guys are sheep here taking their grass, just do your 2 rakat as if you're alone with Allah. Don't need to take care of people watching or not watching. Second point in ikhlas, أن يستوي عنده المادح والذام. The one who praises him or criticizes him must be equal. Now, people talk, whatever they say must not mean anything to you. So Sayyidina Abu Bakr had a dua when people praise him. He was the best of Sahaba, so people would speak quite a bit of him. So when people praise him, he says, Allahumma anta a'lamu bima fi nafsi minni. Ya Allah, you know what's in me better than myself. Wa ana a'lamu bima fi nafsi minhum. And I know what is in me better than them. فَلَا تَفْتِنِّي بِمَا يَقُولُونَ. Don't let me go astray by what they're saying. وَاجْعَلْنِي خَيْرًا مِمَّا يَظُنُّونَ. And make me better than what they think. وَاغْفِرْ لِي مَا لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. And forgive me what they don't know. So that way you will close the door to shaitan. So if you have problem with people praising you, learn this dua. And you say it every time until it will not affect you anymore. And the third point of ikhlas, أَنْ لَا يَأْتِ فِيهِ الْعُجْبِ. Not to have vanity. Not to think that you have well worshipped Allah and you have no problem to go to Jannah. You see? So what is the problem between this and sincerity? When you work for Allah, you see that what you have done is small for Allah. If you forget that you're doing it for Allah, you say, yes, I made 2 rakat this night in the middle of the night, man. As if it was something enormous. But if your boss calls you and says, come, I'm going to give you $1,000. No more, no more sleep, no more time, no more nothing. $1,000? Proof. That pushes you like, I don't know what, like you're being shooted. But you hear Hur al-Ain, Allah comes in the last third of the night. I'm tired, man. No motivation. And for that, Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah said, if you feel vanity for your actions, think of 5 things. Look whose rida, whose satisfaction you're seeking, what reward you're asking for, reward of Jannah, what punishment you fear, punishment of Jahannam, what bounty you think, the bounties of Allah, and what test, what hardship you remember, how you were in difficult situation, Allah has taken you out of that. It says if you think of one of these 5 things, you see that your actions are small. Okay? So that is ikhlas. That is how to get ikhlas. Very clearly. 3 things. Your actions must be equal. If you're alone or with people, people praising you or criticizing you should be equal, and not having vanity over your actions. Now question number 3. Question number 3. Let me see. What's the question again? Question number 3. Oh, it is how to have concentration in dhikr. How to have concentration in dhikr. It is question number 3, because there's just a way of turning the question. Let's put it this way. How to know that Allah is the creator. How to know that Allah is the creator. For example, Allah Ta'ala says, أَفَلَمْ يَنْظُرُوا إِلَى السَّمَاءِ فَوْقَهُمْ. Did they not see the sky above them? How we have built it. We have made it beautiful and it has no cracks. So Allah said, did they not see the sky? Everybody sees the sky, except blind people. Maybe you can see the sky 100 times a day, isn't it? When you see the sky 100 times a day, how many times did you remember Allah? How many times did you see the greatness of Allah? Not even one time. Not even one time. That means you are blind to the signs of Allah. We don't see. You see? How to make this thing a reality into our lives? This is the question. How to make this thing a reality into our lives? It's going to come through dhikr. It's going to come through dhikr. I'm going to show you a special way of making dhikr, so that this dhikr becomes a tool to get iman. That's very important. You're going to repeat Subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah 100 times. And think of just one creature. Choose just one creature to ponder on, to meditate on. For example, I'm going to think of my body. I say Subhanallah, Allah has created this body, it's fantastic. Alhamdulillah, that has given me life and health and strength, intelligence, beauty, everything. Wa la ilaha illallah, this body is to worship Allah. It's not that I'll take Him to worship Him, to follow my desires, my pleasure, my rest, and to leave the orders of Allah for this body. So I'll take Him as a God instead of Allah. No, it is to worship Allah. Wallahu Akbar, Allah can give best, better, and more than this. As Allah says, لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِدَنَّكُمْ. If you are grateful, I'll give you more. Any bounties of Allah we use the way He wants, He will increase it and bless it. وَلَا حَوْلَ وَلَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ. This body can do nothing or stop nothing except by the will of Allah. I must not say, I'm strong, I can do this job, I'm intelligent, I can figure this out, or I'm healthy, I'm not afraid of cold. No, I say I am weak, I need the help of Allah. Okay? And I keep repeating this 100 times, only thinking of my body. Subhanallah, how Allah has made this. Alhamdulillah, that has given me all these bounties. Wa la ilaha illallah. This body is to worship Allah, not to be worshipped, and leave the religion of Allah to please this body. Wallahu Akbar, Allah can give more and better than this. Wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. This body can do nothing except by the will of Allah. When I start doing that, there is plenty of thoughts that are going to come into my mind. Now these thoughts, that is shaitan who does not want me to concentrate on the dhikr. Now Allah calls him al-waswas al-khannas, the one who whispers and who shuts up. Ibn Abbas explains, shaitan is sitting on the heart of insan. Whenever you remember Allah, he shuts up. When you forget Allah, he whispers. So all the time in your life, in our lives, that we were forgetting Allah, shaitan was whispering into our minds. So when you look at your life, more than 99% of the time, you're not thinking of Allah. All that time, shaitan has filled your mind with his own thoughts. And that is what gives him the ability that as soon as you try to think of Allah, he will bring you those thoughts to disturb you so you don't think of Allah. Okay? Now the good news is that those thoughts are coming out. They're not coming in. Like a house that's full of dust, when you start sweeping, so the dust will rise. So it is going out. It's not coming in. You have to continue until all the dust is out. Okay? So there is a very special way of taking that dust out, of fighting those thoughts of shaitan. As soon as you realize that you are out of your dhikr, you are thinking of something else, you cut it immediately and come back to the words you are saying. You see, that's the precise process to do it. Don't think, how did I reach there? I was saying this, and I want to do that, and I want to do that. Oh, that's how I got all the way to there. So all that, you're just wasting your time and losing your dhikr again. It's useless. Okay? Or you want to say the words that you didn't concentrate on. No need. You're going to lose the ones you are saying now. Or you say, that's an interesting idea. I must think of this problem, and you're gone. Left your dhikr. Okay? So you're making your subhanallah, alhamdulillah, how Allah has created me, given me my body is to worship Allah. And as soon as you realize that you are out of your dhikr, you cut it immediately. As soon as you realize, you leave it. And you come to the words you are saying. It's going to be a slap to shaitan. And you feel it difficult. You're how do you say, pulling, shaitan is pulling. You're pulling and shaitan is pulling. It doesn't like that dhikr. It doesn't like you thinking of this tasbih. It's pulling you away and you're pulling yourself back. You must not let yourself, wherever shaitan will take you, you will go. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Okay? When you do that, after a few minutes, there's no more thought that's going to come into your mind. And you're going to start making dhikr with concentration, without effort. Like someone who's watching TV, someone who's watching a film for 1 hour, they did not miss one word, one sentence. Or someone who's watching a football match for 90 minutes, he did not miss any pass. And he's concentrated without effort, without stress, very relaxed and totally concentrated. That's how you're going to make your dhikr without effort. Concentration without effort. When you reach that, that's when the spiritual benefits of dhikr are going to start. As long as your mind is not there, your heart is not there, and there's no spiritual benefit. So, the first spiritual benefit is the sakina, peace. Peace of mind. What is the peace of heart? What is the sakina? You have worries of dunya. You have problem of money, of paper, of job, of wife, of child, of house, of health, etc. Now, when the sakina comes, you say, Ya Allah, if you are happy with me, I have no problem at all. I don't have any problem if you are happy with me. If you're not happy with me, my life is worth nothing. Even if I've got everything, it's worth nothing. That is the sakina. It takes out of your heart all the worries of dunya. All the worries and concerns of dunya. Your only worry is to please Allah. That's all you need in your life. That's the sakina. After that, after you feel the sakina, you continue making dhikr. And just think of your body, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, etc. Until you feel the pleasure in your heart, a light in your heart. That is the iman increasing, and that is the rahmah coming down. These four things are the same thing. The pleasure in the heart, the light in the heart, the rahmah coming down, and the iman increasing. It is the same thing. Okay? And this light in your heart has an effect in your life. It chases away darkness. What does that mean? That means all the bad things you desire, and you are resisting, fighting against. And sometimes you do them, you are deceived. And sometimes you don't do them, you are happy. All those things, you don't desire them anymore. Just went out of your heart. And all the good things you are struggling to do, and sometimes you do them, you are happy. Sometimes you don't. And you're unhappy with yourself. So now you do them without effort. That thing that was making you heavy and lazy has gone. And you do it happily without effort. That is the effect of the nur, of the light in your heart. Chases away the darkness. That means in one session of dhikr, when you reach that, to fight the thoughts of shaitan and to go through sakina and to feel the light, you will increase your iman and your practice in Islam more than 1 year of effort without nur. Without nur. And you just continue with your dhikr, and that nur just continues increasing. Just continues increasing. That means, that brothers, that we have a tool to increase our iman as much as you want. As much as you want. You can increase your iman as much as you want. And you don't need to go somewhere to spend something, to be with someone. No. You just need to make dhikr, fight the thoughts of shaitan until it's gone, go through sakina, reach the nur, and just continue. The more you continue, the more the nur increases. It's just up to you. You can just do as much as you can. You have, how do you say? You have it for yourself. You can use it as much as you want to increase your iman. MashaAllah. And this means, that brothers, that we can't waste our time. Once you have understood that, you can't waste your time. You can't say, today I've got nothing to do. What am I going to do? Allah created you to worship Him. You finished all your needs. Worship Allah. That's what you created for. You finished doing everything. You have nothing to do. Well, worship Allah. Isn't that why Allah has created you? You can increase your iman with no condition. And whenever you find people that have nothing to do, teach them to increase their iman. Because they are there. They would like to worship Allah, they don't know how to do. They are bored with what they do already. They're not finding benefit. MashaAllah. Okay, we'll stop here today, inshallah. We still have tomorrow to finish the next question. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika. نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم ولا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم. So we are continuing, inshallah, yesterday's course, which was about the 6 points of tabligh, and I said we're doing it in a question and answer way. The first question was how to become Sahabi, or how did the Sahaba become Sahaba? Very important question. And the second question was what is Ikhlas? Actually, the third question is how to get the Nur. That is the name of the question that I forgotten yesterday. It is how to get the Nur. Well, there is something very specific in tabligh, is that when you go out fi sabilillah for 3 days or 10 days, you get some nur, and that changes your life. And this nur stuff, this light you get in your heart, is something that is difficult to understand how it works. Because when you go out in the beginning, you have great nur. It really changes your life. And then when you go out again, you get nur, but less, then less, then less, then you don't get nur anymore. But you keep understanding that this tabligh work changed my life, is very good. It keeps changing other people's life. But you don't understand why you don't get that nur anymore. So that is a problem, because your spiritual development it becomes very slow and very limited. And then you keep on passing years and years in tabligh without any big change or any big feeling. You see? So that is very important to know how to get the nur every time. And what is the problem? So what is the problem? Taking the nur needs to tawajjuh, to think of Allah, to direct your heart towards Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. You see? It's what we talked about yesterday in the dhikr. And because we had so much ghafla in our life, Shaitan is dominating our thoughts. Whenever you try to think of Allah, he will easily deviate you from something else. And I told you that solution is to fight those thoughts whenever you're out. You cut it short and you come back to the words you are saying. It's like if you're in a fog and you go forward and you see nothing, you keep going until at one point everything becomes clear and the fog is behind you. Now you have managed to go out of it. That's the procedure of the dhikr, to fight those satanic thoughts. You see? So when you go out in tabligh first time, everything is new. Everything is beautiful. So you listen and you concentrate without effort, because it is new. So you are naturally concentrated. You see? But then, After second, third time, you hear a hadith that Yawm al-Qiyamah, Quran will be brought and the people who practice it in dunya, he will, Baqarah and Surah Al Imran will be in front of him, say, hey, I've heard this already, that's what we read yesterday. So since you say, I heard this, I know this, you stop getting profit. And you stop listening, because you're just waiting for it to finish to listen to something else. And the more you do tabligh, the more you get to know everything. And now you're not listening anymore, just waiting for something new. Waiting for the bayan to hear some new story, or some muzakara of Emir is going to tell us something new. Now that you know that everything they do in your mosque, you know it's all, waiting for someone to come from far away to say some new stuff. Now you have to go yourself to India or Pakistan to hear something new. But bad luck, when you reach there, all those who went before you, they already repeated everything that's said there. So no more nothing new, no more benefit, no more nur. But you keep on, you get yaqeen that this work is good, and you see that the new people that you are training yourself, that you are teaching yourself, they get nur, their life change. So you just continue. So, what is the clue? You have to learn to get nur, to get benefit from the simplest words. Subhanallah, alhamdulillah. From the simplest thing. You have to, every time you repeat it, you get nur, your iman increases. You concentrate on the words. After that, you learn to concentrate in your salat, on the hadith, on the bayan, on anything you hear, on any dini words you listen to. Okay? So that was just putting the title on what we said yesterday about the dhikr. It is how to get the nur. And that's how you can get nur anytime. And I'm not going to repeat everything, but I told you these four things are the same thing. The nur you get in your heart, the pleasure, the rahmah that comes, and iman increasing. It is the same thing, which is like this. It is iman increasing that makes that nur, that makes that light, and that is the rahmah that is coming on the assembly. Okay? Now, I told you, yes, where we reached yesterday is I told you that once you have understood this, you cannot waste your time. Because you can increase your iman as much as you want, anytime, and you don't need nothing to go nowhere. Just to make the dhikr, fight the satanic thoughts until it's gone, until you are concentrated, then you go through sakina, then you feel the rahmah, your iman is increasing. And we can't let people wasting their time. Many people are there, don't know what to do in masjid, in time for salat, etc. And when you do that, there's going to be a change in your life. That creature you have meditated on, when you see it again in your life, that will remind you of Allah. For example, if I'm making the tasbih thinking of my body, so as soon as I see my face in the mirror or I look at my hands, I go Subhanallah, Allahu Akbar, La hawla la quwwata. It reminds me of Allah. You see, another time I'll make dhikr, I think of the sky. Now, whenever I see the sky, remember Allah. Another time I'll make dhikr, think of my wife, of my food, of my car, of anything. So all these things now become signs of Allah. And all these verses of Quran become a reality in our life. وَفِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. In your own selves, don't you see? فَلْيَنْظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ إِلَى طَعَامِهِ. Man, look at your food. Do you see the water you're drinking? Don't they see the sky? Etc. All these verses become a reality in our life. And this is how we understand that the Sahaba radiallahu anhum used to learn 5 verses or 10, understand them, practice them before learning the next ones. So in Mecca, the orders of Allah were very few things Allah has given as obligations and things that are haram. So what were they practicing in Mecca? 60% of the Quran has been revealed in Mecca. So what is it that they were practicing? They were practicing the verses of Iman. This has to become part of their life, what Allah is telling about. And look, for example, one example, La haya fi ddin. Allah says, أَفَرَأَيْتُمْ مَا تُمْنُونَ. Do you see what you are ejaculating? Allah says. Allah is asking us to meditate on that. We are all men, we know it. Even women know it. Allah is asking, whenever you see that, Think how Allah created you. That's where Allah created you from. Do you see any head there? Do you see any hands? Any tummy? That's where Allah created you. Do you see any strength, any power, any knowledge? That's where you come from. And also Allah says, that's where Allah does your children from. Can you take that? Make a child? Go ahead. Make a boy, make a girl with that water? Can you? That's how Allah has created your children from. Allah is asking us to meditate on that, not just wash yourself and continue. You see, for example, another bounty, another gift of Allah, maybe we haven't thanked Allah even once in our life. Allah says, أَفَرَأَيْتُمُ النَّارَ الَّتِي تُورُونَ. Do you see the fire that is enlightening you? What would be the life of man without the fire? Look at your food. Can you eat if there is no fire? What will be left of that food? Fire also gives us electricity, petrol, gas. Do we thank Allah for electricity? If there is no electricity, how is it going to be? How's life going to be? If there is no petrol, when petrol prices rise, how is it going to be? Very difficult. Did we ever thank Allah for the fire, the electricity, the gas, the petrol? Allah is telling us, do you see the fire that is enlightening you? أَأَنْتُمْ أَنْشَأْتُمْ شَجَرَتَهَا أَمْ نَحْنُ الْمُنشِئُونَ. Did you make its tree, or are we the ones who did it? Who created petrol? Allah. Allah. Did someone invent petrol, or gas, or fire? It is from Allah. Fire is such a, we are used to it, but it's such a strange thing, how that fire goes, isn't it? Gives all that heat. Allah made that for us. Okay? Now, so what am I saying? So, something's going to change into your life. Whenever you see that creature you made dhikr on, it's going to remind you of Allah. And each time you make dhikr, think of another creature, and all these verses of Quran now become a reality in your life. All these things you see remind you of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Now the next question, how to get khushu' in salat? Isn't this a big question? Alhamdulillah, we all pray. Where's khushu'? That's a big problem, isn't it? So I'm going to give you a very easy formula to get khushu' in salat. MashaAllah, be careful. So, so you have to find a time where you've got nothing to do. For example, if you finish now, and you're going to make 2 rak'at, and you have nothing to do, you have free time, nothing until 8 or 9 to do. Okay? Any time where you have nothing to do, and you're going to make 2 rak'at just to learn khushu'. Okay? Just to train on khushu'. And you're going to pray until you reach sajda, and in sajda, you make sajda, and you say, now, I'm not going to take my head off until I get khushu'. I'm going to stay here as long as it's necessary until I get khushu'. I have nothing to do. No hurry, no nothing. Whenever I pray, I'm always praying fast to go do something else. Now it's finished. I have nothing else to do. Allah created me to worship Him, and I'm going to take all my time. And you just repeat Subhana Rabbil A'la. Nothing else. Not another word. Just Subhana Rabbil A'la. And you start concentrating on Rabbi. Rabbi is my creator, my sustainer. Rabb comes from tarbiyah, education. Like parents educate a child, they have brought him to world, and they are fulfilling his needs, taking care of everything until he becomes independent. That's how Allah has created us and giving us everything we need to live. Rabbil Alameen, He created all beings and is giving them what they need to live and to exist. Rabbi, that is our first conscious that Allah is the one who created us, is giving us in our body and in our surrounding what we need to live. So, I repeat Subhana Rabbil A'la, and I'll start by concentrating only on Rabbi, that I am calling my God, I am calling my Allah, my Creator, Rabbi, my Rabb, my Creator, my Khaliq, until I understand that I'm speaking to my Allah and I'm calling Rabbi. Then I will concentrate on Subhana Rabbi. So Subhanallah tanazzaha anil uyub wal naqais. Allah does not have any defaults or any lacks. What are the defaults and the lacks that people attribute to Allah? And Allah says, no, He's not like that. Allah says, Subhanallah amma yushrikun, Subhanallah amma yasifun. Allah is pure and perfect, not the way they associate Him not the way they describe him. They say Allah has got associates, and they say Allah has got children. And Allah says, no, Allah is not like that. So we know, alhamdulillah, that Allah has no children, and Allah has no associate. But there is a kind of association that is in our hearts, which is not giving Allah the qadar, the respect, the importance he deserves. Giving importance to creatures instead of giving importance to Allah. What's not shirk, like worshipping idols? It's just a lack of iman, that the iman is not that good. وَمَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِهِ. As Allah said, they did not estimate Allah, His real esteem, His real place. They did not give Him His real place. Okay? So what are you going to do? You're going to look for a moment in your life where you are not giving to Allah His importance. You look for a moment in your life where you do a sin or you neglect something in religion. You are just not giving that importance you should give to anything in religion. Okay? For example, just take an example. For example, if I'm doing ghaibat, backbiting someone. So I'm going to look at this situation and I say, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, Rabbi, you created me. You're giving me the tongue to speak, the ears to listen, the brain to think. And I am using your bounties to disobey you. I'm not even shamed. I'm not even shy of you to do this. Look at the contradiction between Allah's gifts and my behavior. For example, if I'm speaking bad on someone, and he just comes in and says, no, in fact I meant something else, blah, blah, blah. I'm just trying to change what I said because I am ashamed of what I've done in front of that person. But what we do in front of Allah, we're not ashamed. We're not ashamed. We do it in front of Allah as if nothing's happening. You see? So, you look at that moment in your life where you're doing something bad or you're neglecting something of the religion and you keep repeating, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, Rabbi, you created me. You have given me all this. This is how I am doing. This is how I'm behaving. This is the way I do in front of you with the bounties you have given me. And this is how I am behaving. This is really not like, this is not acceptable. Does not suit you. This is not suitable for you. This is not a way to behave with you. This is not a way to respect you, to glorify you. What I'm doing is not a respect for you. Okay? You look at the contradiction between Allah's gifts and your own behavior. Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, you are the highest. You deserve to be loved and to be feared and to be worshipped and to be sanctified, to be glorified more than this. Okay? So you repeat Subhana Rabbi al-A'la until you understand what you are saying. And you repeat until you understand that, until I understand that I'm speaking to Allah. I'm not just speaking alone or reading a newspaper. And I repeat until I understand that Allah is listening to me. And I repeat until I understand that Allah is watching me. And that is the khushu'. And you see, that seems like something extraordinary. But that's what we're doing all day with anyone. I'm speaking to you, I know what I say, I know I'm speaking to you, I know you're listening to me, I know you're looking at me. It's natural. Does not need any particular effort, isn't it? But to do it with Allah, it becomes such a big thing, such a great thing, because shaitan is not letting us concentrate. But that is what the khushu'. Until we understand that we are speaking with Allah and He's watching us, listening to us, everything, and we know what we're saying, we're not blah blah and thinking of something else, subhanAllah. How can you speak with someone and you don't even know what you're talking about? Then what? When you reach that point in your salat, when you understand that Allah is watching you, you get fear of Allah. You become afraid of Allah. That's natural. Even if you're driving and you see policemen watching you, or you become very careful, attentive, my belts, my papers, my this, my that. Anytime, even if you're at school and you see that the headmaster or the teacher is watching you, you become very calm, isn't it? So when you understand that Allah is watching you, it's much more fear of Allah. And when that fear of Allah comes, the fear of the creature goes. All the creatures become nothing. As the examples the Mashiach say, if you're afraid of a mosquito and then you see a snake, oops, you forgot the mosquito. Even if he's biting you, don't even feel it. Because all your attention now is on the snake. So when you get the fear of Allah, creatures become nothing. And so when you reach that point in your sajda, stay there as much as you can. Make it as long as you can. Because these moments in our life of intimacy with Allah are too few and very spiritual beneficial. Very beneficial spiritually. So try to stay there as much as you can. And what's going to happen? When you finish your salah, you go, that feeling that Allah is watching you is going to go with you. It's not going to cut. That Allah is watching you all the time. And that makes you very, very, very careful in everything you do and very pious to Allah Ta'ala. And you're going to try to do this long prayer every day. Every day. And that's not, it is a sunnah. It is even a great sunnah because Allah says, Ya ayyuhal muzammil, qum al-layl. You covered with your clothes. Get up and pray in the night. Allah has given this obligation to Prophet ﷺ and Sahaba since day one of Islam. Since the first day. Before the 5 salat that were 10 years after in Mi'raj. Because it is their spiritual education that they absolutely need. That Allah has given from the beginning. And you need those hours of salat to brainwash yourself from the thoughts of shaitan and to get concentrated with Allah Ta'ala. So you're going to find time every day to make this 2 rak'at at least where you absolutely must get khushu concentration and get this relation with Allah. And after that, any salat you do, you're going to try to get this feeling back that you are speaking with Allah Ta'ala. And once you have done the salah, something's going to change in your life. When you reach that point where you used to do your sin or your neglectance in religion, everything you have said in your salah is going to come back to your mind. How am I going to do this ghaibah? Allah is watching me. Allah gave me the tongue to speak. And I'm going to do this and Allah is watching me and I'm going to disobey Him. No, I will leave it. Whatever the pleasure or the desire I have, or however the people might be cross with me, or whatever money I'm going to lose in this thing, finish. I'm not going to disobey Allah anymore. You see? So that's what Allah says, إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنكَرِ. Salat forbids to do evil. It took me 12 years to understand this verse. Because when I started praying, I said the Salah تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنكَرِ. I'm trying to pray my best. I'm also trying to avoid sins, not to harm people, not to look at women, all this. But I don't see any link between my salat and my behavior that I'm trying to avoid sins. I don't see that my prayer is changing anything in my life. Just the same way I'm trying to pray, I'm also trying to avoid sins. And it took me time to understand, 12 years before I got this. Yes, it is that meditation and concentration in salat that will change you and make you understand Allah's gifts and your short doings and make you change your behavior. That is what is needed. That means you must, when you say Salaam Alaikum, something has changed in you. That salat has done something to you. That will make a change in your life. That's how it's going to work. Okay? So that was the how much question. The first question was how to become Sahabi, and then what is Ikhlas, and then how to get the Nur, and this is how to get Khushu and Salah. And the next question is how to get Yaqeen. MashaAllah. You know Yaqeen, certitude that Allah is the one who does everything, and you don't get afraid of creatures, and you know how to rely on Allah and how to ask Him so that He will realize what you want. MashaAllah. Well, the answer of how to get Yaqeen, it is to ask from Allah and not to ask from creatures. This is it. You have to ask what you need from Allah, and you refrain, you refuse to ask from creatures, and you just hold on until Allah solves it. You see? So there's a hadith where Allah gives 6 steps to get yaqeen. The hadith very well known, where Rasulullah was with Abdullah ibn Abbas and tells him, Ya ghulam, إني أعلمك كلمات. Hey boy, I teach you some words. احفظ الله يحفظك. Keep Allah, Allah will keep you. That is first step. You need taqwa first. You need to obey to Allah first. You can't be doing sins and then asking Allah, and Allah will give you. Allah will not give you. That's what Rasulullah said. And the one who's asking and he's all in haram, how is Allah Ta'ala going to listen to him? So first is taqwa. Now when you have this taqwa, Allah is going to protect you. And you will feel that your good deeds that you are doing, alhamdulillah, it is giving something in your life. When people are crushed in problems, even if you get problems, it is with lutf, with, how do you say, it is gentle, it is bearable. It is difficult, but it is bearable. It's not like others that get destroyed. So Allah is protecting you. And then, يَحْفَظِ اللَّهَ تَجِدُ. To keep Allah, you will find Him with you. That means that you are in your taqwa and everything, and a problem comes in your life. And now you're going to beg Allah, until Allah gives you a solution. In a way that you know that this is from Allah. That this was not in your capacity, and this was not in your calculation, but Allah Ta'ala has made a solution. Now you have seen with your eyes how Allah is interfering in your life and changing things. So when that happens, then you're going to understand that you must not wait for your situation to be uncontrollable, to be out of control, to ask Allah. Even if you have everything and you're fine, you have to ask Allah. Ask Allah. And don't say that, no, I'm okay, why should I? No, the same way you're crying because you had a big problem, you have to cry every day to get your food and to get everything, even if you think that you don't need nothing, but you do need Allah. Even if you think that you have got everything, and you're going to ask Allah for everything, and not ask any creatures. And that is it, you see. Because just take a simple example. If you're sitting here, and you have the water, and I'll tell you, brother, could you give me the water? Okay, why don't I ask Allah? Ask Allah? Ask Allah. The water is here, you are here. I should ask you to give me water. So if I can't believe, I just can't believe that, how is Allah going to give me that water? So how is Allah going to give you Jannah? It's just that water that's just 1 meter in front of you. You just can't imagine how Allah is going to give you that water. So how can you believe Allah is going to give you Jannah? So you have to. So you're going to ask Allah. Now you can get up and get the water yourself, but don't ask creatures. Don't ask creatures. And you're going to see that Allah Ta'ala is going to do something, that water is going to come. That water is going to come. And you see, that means the hijab between us and the power of Allah is asking people. When you ask people, finish. How is Allah going to help you? You're asking people. You believe in your heart, these people can solve your problem. So, why should Allah come to help you? He will not. Because you put in your mind that but when you put in your mind, no, only Allah can help you. I'm not going to ask people. Until it happens. Until it happens. And this is, you're going to work until you stop asking people. And when you do this, and you see every time how Allah gives you, the moment that you are weak, and you say, okay, I'm just in a hurry, so I want this immediately. Please, can you give me that? It will not happen. Incredible. Something that's just there. Yes, and it just gets a phone call, goes, does something else. Whatever you, no. So you say, no, I have to ask Allah. Or I do it myself. But stop asking people. Take off your heart that people can help you, and you'll see how Allah is going to help you. That's how you're going to train on yaqeen. And then after that, إِذَا سَأَلْتَ فَاسْأَلِ اللَّهِ. When you ask Allah. وَإِذَا اسْتَعَنْتَ فَاسْتَعِنْ بِاللَّهِ. When you ask for help, you ask help from Allah. Now that is different. Now you are in danger. Something bad's going to happen to you. Hey brother, can you? No, leave it. Ask Allah. Leave it. Don't call anyone. Don't ask anyone. Just ask Allah. Because Yawm al-Qiyamah, if you're in danger and Allah does not help you, who can help you? No one. Just stay there. Ya Allah. Ya Allah, if all the salat I have done in my life, if everything I have done in my life is worth something, take me out of this situation. If it's worth nothing, I might as well die here. If everything I have done in my life is worth nothing, so I might as well stay here. Okay? For example, that's what I tell them in Africa. I don't know here. I hope not. But in Africa, police always stop people and take money off people for any reason. So I tell them, when the police stops you, asks you for money, takes your papers, and then you have done nothing wrong. If you have done something wrong, you have to pay. You have to pay a correct fine, not just giving money. But if you've done nothing, they just want money. Just pull out and pray. Ya Allah. If all my salat, all my deen is worth something, take me out of this situation. If it's worth nothing, I don't need to do anything. I'm just sitting here until you forgive me and you accept me and you take me out of this situation. That's it. You just put a stop in your life, in all your activities. What if you die? Are you still in a hurry? No more rush. No more rush. And you're going to pray until Allah takes you out of there. MashaAllah. We have plenty of beautiful stories, but you don't need to hear other people's stories. You have to do your own. MashaAllah. I once was discussing with a brother, and he told me in his university there's corruption. People pay the teachers to get the exams so that he will give them the exams before the exams. I said, you have to tell the headmaster. He told me the headmaster is part of the system. They share the money. I said, well, you go to the ministry where there's the supervisors. He said, but they'll know they're in school that I have did it and they'll throw me out. I said, well, did you hear about the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam? How he was thrown in the fire? He said, yes. He said, now it's your turn to jump. Now it's your turn to jump. You've read this story how many times? Now you have to jump. Go ahead. Fight. This corruption in system, okay? So that is which question? Fifth question, how to get yaqeen. Now the sixth question is how to get miracles. It's not a purpose in deen to get miracles. It's not a purpose. But every one of us, when we hear the miracles of Sahaba, or when we heard the miracles of Sahaba the first time, so we will say, hey, can you also have these? Isn't it? We would like to. So to have miracles, it's not a purpose, a goal in Islam to have miracles. But anyway, how to have miracles? It comes by yaqeen on ghaib. Yaqeen on ghaib. When you have the yaqeen on the ghaib, Allah is going to show it to you. Allah is going to show it to you. I remember I was giving this course in 93, 94 in my mosque in Paris. And one of the youth told me, no, Abdurrauf, you must not make dhikr, think of food, think of sun, you must think of Allah, you must think of Jannah, you must think of angels. I said, how can you think of Jannah that you don't know? Of angels? And Allah is telling us, look at your food, look at yourself. This is what Allah is telling us to meditate on. And then it's another thing to know, Abdurrauf, you must think of Jannah. The other day, I was making my dhikr, thinking of Jannah, and I felt in my mouth a taste that does not exist in this world. You see? When you get yaqeen on something, Allah is going to show it to you. That's how. So you have to work on how to get yaqeen on ghaib. You have to listen to a point that you see. You see? For example, Rasulullah said, the Quran will be brought Yawm al-Qiyamah. Yawm al-Qiyamah, the day of judgment, the Quran will be brought. And the people who practice it, well, we all know this hadith, I hope. And the Baqarah and Ali Imran will be in front of the Quran. They will be defending that person. Now let's listen to this hadith again. Yawm al-Qiyamah, the day of judgment. So when you hear this, you must imagine the day of judgment. Everybody's there, man, jinn, animals, because there will be counts for animals. Most people are desperate, are fearing. Some people are fine, but most people are desperate. All humanity is there, and jinns. And while everybody is there, the Quran will be brought. The angels will bring Quran, not as a book, as something that everybody can recognize. And you can see this is Surah Baqarah, and Imran, etc. This is Ayat al-Kursi, this is that. You can see them all. And the angels are bringing this Quran that everybody can see. And behind the Quran, all the people who practiced it, those who've done it all, those who've done it all except one or two verses, those who've done 3/4, half, a quarter, until those who've just done one or two verses, they are sticking onto their verse. That verse will be defending them. For example, if Allah says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ, the believers have won. And you have that iman that this verse is talking about. So, that verse is guaranteeing success to you, isn't it? And no one can say no, because Allah said it. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ, the believers have won. So stick on to that verse, you have won. It's going to take you all the way to Jannah. So if you have seen this procession go and you're not part of it, that means you did not find a single verse of Quran that you have really applied in your life, and that will defend you. You do not have any single verse that you really have done, and that is going to fight for you, speak for you. What's going to happen to you? وَالْقُرْآنُ حُجَّةٌ لَكَ أَوْ عَلَيْكَ. Rasulullah said, Quran is a proof for you or against you. So if you don't find any verse to defend you, you will find other verses to accuse you and to attack you. And if Allah, for example, said, وَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَهُونَ, punishment on those who pray that neglect their prayers. And this verse applies on you. May Allah protect us. No one can save you. It is Allah's words. Allah has said it. And it's going to happen. Nothing can come to change that word now. You see? So, when you hear this hadith, and you see what's going to happen, so you think, now, how many years I'm practicing Islam? Which verse did I apply? I can't say any verse of Quran that I have really applied, and that I am confident that this verse will defend me on Al-Qiyam. I can't say any verse. So what must I do? I'm going to stop now. I'm going to look for any verse of Quran, the easiest one I can do. I can really do until I'm sure that I have done it. And I'll do it. Inshallah, I'm going to put all my energy to do it. When that is done, I'll look for a second verse. But forget the second. Let's get the first one first. And all of a sudden, we are in the track of Sahaba radiallahu anhu, who used to learn 5 verses, understand, apply them in their lives before they learn the next ones. All of a sudden, we're following their track. That is their manual of education in Islam. That's how they learned and practiced Islam. You see? For example, let's take a very, because if you say, Alif Lam Mim Dhalika al-Kitabu la rayba fi hudan lil-muttaqin, it's a guidance for the pious. Wow! Everything is in that. So that's doing everything. So that's not the first verse you can apply. Maybe that's one of the last ones. But take, فَلْيَنْظُرُ الْإِنسَانُ إِلَى طَعَامِهِ. Man, look at your food. That's easy. Everybody looks at his food when he eats, isn't it? But it's not just looking, it is pondering, thinking. So, what you're going to do, every time you eat, you're going to think of the bounties of Allah. MashaAllah. How Allah has done this oil, has done this milk, has done this salt, has done this bread. Allahu Akbar. If you are eating with your family, you must mention, look, my children, look how Allah has done this. MashaAllah. Greatness of Allah. If you're eating with your friends, you speak with them. If you're alone, Alhamdulillah, that has done this and that. You cannot eat without mentioning the gifts of Allah Ta'ala. Now you have applied this verse. Okay? Another verse, for example, that you can really apply. وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. From what you have given them, they give. So now, any time you get any income, will it be a wage of income of any kind, whenever you get some money, you have to give part of it to Allah. Any part, any small part, whenever you get some money, you have to give a part of it to Allah. You do that each and every time you get money. So you know that this verse, وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ, is part of your life. And Yawm al-Qiyamah, that verse will be with you. You see? And you're going to get verse after verse to include them in your life. This is the hadith. So I was telling you, we're talking about yaqeen on ghaib. Excuse me. No, we've got 2 minutes. We're talking about yaqeen on ghaib. You have to listen to the hadith as if you never heard it. And listen at the words as they are said. And your enemy is to say, I know. Because you don't know. You know Yawm al-Qiyamah? You don't. You know Jannah, you know Nar? You don't. Listen to it as if you never heard it. You listen until you see You see, for example, if you are traveling far, if you're here, you work in the States, and your wife sends you a letter, oh, my husband, I miss you so much, and you know, baby now starts to walk around the house, and he's saying, daddy, daddy, and you read in the letter, you hear your wife's voice in your mind, and you see the child, and you start crying, isn't it? This is how you have to listen to Quran and Hadith, as it becomes a film that you are living in. And that will affect you. When you see it, you feel it, that will affect your heart. You see? That's how you get yaqeen on ghaib. And when you get yaqeen on ghaib, you'll see the miracles. Because the ghaib becomes like what you see, what you don't. It becomes like what you see. And Allah will show it to you. Okay? That's not the full program of 6 points, but it's part of it. May Allah Ta'ala help us and accept us. سبحانك اللهم. You have all this on YouTube already, huh? سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.